Hello guys and welcome to today's episode of The Exclusive. With a handful of topics to discuss on this agenda, we are going to quickly review the headlines. First on today's agenda, Federico Valverde, who has been seen as the future Real Madrid captain, has now emerged as a favorite to be named the Uruguayan national team captain as well. Real Madrid are growing concerned about 17-year-old signing situation in Brazil over recent lack of game time despite impressing in the early stages of his career is going to be our second agenda. Then finally on today's episode, Real Madrid midfielder Dani Ceballos could rejoin the training with other teammates this week. It has been a disappointing start of the campaign after picking up an injury just before preseason, but he seemed to be feeling better now. So having said that, before we move right on to it, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Follow us so you do not miss on our next videos. Seen by many as the future captain of Real Madrid, young midfielder Federico Valverde is also on the verge of being named as captain of his country. The Uruguayan national team coached by the legendary Marcelo Bielsa are currently in camp preparing for their games against Chile and Ecuador respectively. According to Spanish outlet Marca, Fede Valverde is favourite to wear the armband against Chile on Friday in the South American World Cup qualifiers. There is nothing official about the 25-year-old assuming the captaincy, but it is a possibility that predominates strongly in Uruguay, where he is already an idol. The midfielder has already won the armband once for his national team in a friendly, where it ended in a 1-1 draw, with his goal securing a point for Las Celeste. There are many options that for the first time in the official match, Fede can wear the armband. New head coach Marcelo Bielsa also has Federico Valverde as one of the leaders of his new group. Another factor that brings the Real Madrid player closer to the armband is that under new coach Marcelo Bielsa, veterans like Edinson Cavani, Luis Suarez and Fernando Muslera have not received call-ups. Of those called up for these two matches against Chile and Ecuador, at 25 years old, Fede Valverde is not the oldest, but he is the second most capped, only surpassed by Nathan Nandez with 49 appearances. So having said that, we turn the chapter on today's agenda, as Real Madrid are growing concerned about 17-year-old signings situation in Brazil. It was December last year when Real Madrid announced the signing of Brazilian wonderkid Endrick from Palmeiras. The teenage sensation had been on the radar of every top club across Europe, but ultimately Los Blancos won the race, signing him in a deal worth 60 million euros including add-ons. Given that he was only 16 years old at the time of the transfer, Endrick stayed at Palmeiras and will only be joining Real Madrid in the summer of 2024 once he turns 18. Now 17 years of age, Endrick has had difficulties getting game time at Palmeiras in recent months despite showing great promise early on in his senior career. Indeed, the teenage striker has only started 4 of Palmeiras' 22 league matches this season. Furthermore, he has been left out as an unused substitute as many as 6 times by manager Abel Ferrara. In all, Endrick has made 16 Serie A appearances for Palmeiras this season, playing only 462 minutes and scoring 4 goals. This lack of game time is causing some concerns at Real Madrid as they hoped to see Endrick play regularly in Brazil before arriving at the Santiago Bernabeu next year. Apart from the game time, Los Blancos are also worried about the treatment that the teenage wonderkid receives on the pitch from opponents. In Palmeiras' most recent outing against Corinthians, he was on the receiving end of a horrific knee-high tackle by Malcolm, who was making no attempt to challenge for the ball. Endrick emerged on scratch from the incident, but that has not stopped Real Madrid from worrying about their soon-to-be players' situation in Brazil. It is no secret that Endrick is a huge Real Madrid supporter and is eager to don the royal white jersey for the Spanish capital club. In a recent interview, the 17-year-old Whiz-Kid revealed his admiration for Real Madrid legend Karim Benzema, while also shedding light on the advice he has received from Vinicius Jr. "I work every day to arrive at Real Madrid ready to help them," he said. "Vinicius Jr. told me I was going to enjoy myself at Real Madrid, have fun, and that it will be the highlight of my career." Concluding with that, we turn to the third and final chapter of today's agenda, as Real Madrid midfielder likely to rejoin group training this week. It has been a difficult start to the new season for Real Madrid midfielder Dani Ceballos. The Spanish international could have left the club at the end of the previous season when his contract was expiring, but he opted to pen in an extension and continue at the Santiago Bernabeu. The renewal of Luka Modric and Dani Ceballos, coupled with Jude Bellingham's arrival, meant that he would have a big fight on his hand for a place in Carlo Ancelotti's setup. Despite that, Ceballos signed a new contract, but a month into the new season, he is yet to play a single game. An injury very early on in the preseason meant that the former Real Betis missed the USA tour and is still continuing his recovery. Ceballos has resumed individual training in recent weeks and is, per a report from Sergio Querentes, the 27-year-old is expected to resume group training session this week. With the international break underway, the handful of Real Madrid players not away on national team dust duty have been training at the Valverde since yesterday, and Ceballos has been continuing with his individual program, whereas Ferland Mendy has resumed group training. As per reports, through the idea so far, Ceballos to start training with the rest of the group this week itself. Can Ceballos find a place in Real Madrid starting midfield? The question lurks the Santiago Bernabeu. It should put Ceballos in the frame for a return soon after the international break, when Real Madrid take on Real Sociedad. While the midfielder could be ready in time for the match, and fitness-wise, whether he actually plays or not remains to be seen. Ancelotti has found a settled midfield unit in Aurelien Tchouameni, Federico Valverde, Eduardo Camavinga and Jude Bellingham. On top of that, veteran Kroos and Modric showed in recent matches they can still be vital to the team with such competition for places. Whether Ceballos receives any meaningful minute remains to be seen. So having said that, we have come to the end of today's interesting exclusive review. Thanks for following us right up to the end. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Follow us so you do not miss on our next videos. See you next time.